Hey, what's up, guys? I'm here to talk to you about Frankie Edgar versus Ben Henderson 2 at UFC. It looks to be like 150. And to be honest with you guys, why do they need a freaking rematch with Benson Henderson versus Frankie Edgar? Frankie Edgar has how many title fights against BJ Penn 2? Then he has 2 title fights against Gray Maynard. He doesn't need a title fight against Benson Henderson. The dude lost. They should give the fight to Nate Diaz, like Nate Diaz deserves. Cause so guys, it seems like to me, to be honest, the UFC doesn't want the Diaz brothers to be a champion. They're gonna make him wait even longer when this dude has done how many fights, and how many fights has he won in a row? They shouldn't give Frankie Edgar versus Benson Henderson 2. Watch, Benson Henderson destroys Frankie Edgar. Then what's the UFC going to say? Well, Frankie, you should go to 145, which honestly I think he should go to 145, and Nate should get his title shot. I would love to hear what you guys got to say in the comments below, but to be honest, Nate Diaz deserves this title shot more than Frankie. Frankie had the title, he lost. It's like in a football game. You're not going to have, let's say, the Jacksonville Jaguars fighting against the 49ers, and the 49ers win the Super Bowl, and they're like, no, we're doing a rematch. And then the Jaguars, oh, well, the new winners of the Super Bowl is the Jaguars. No, you don't have that in that kind of sport. And I think, to wholeheartedly be honest, Nate Diaz deserves this title shot more than anybody in the UFC. Nate Diaz has been whooping ass, taking names, submitting people, beating people down. Look at his last fight. Dominant. So you guys know that I honestly think Nate Diaz is the only one in the 155-pound division that should be fighting for the title. Look what he did to Donald Cerrone. Made Donald Cerrone look like a piece of shit. And Donald Cerrone was to be looked at as the next big thing at the 155-pound division. He fought Jim Miller. And Jim Miller's a beastly wrestler with great jiu-jitsu and good stand-up. And he got outclassed and outworked. And I give all the props in the world for Frankie Edgar. Yes, he beat BJ Penn. Yes, he beat Gray Maynard. Yes, he's beaten some good guys, and he's a good fighter. But I think his time has passed as a champion. I think once you lose your title, you should go back to the bottom and work your ass way back up to the top. And Benson Henderson versus Nate Diaz would be a more entertaining fight. Nate Diaz is always going to bring it. He's not going to be one of those type of fighters who runs around the cage like a Frankie Edgar. He's going to be up in your face, swinging and swinging. He has some of the best boxing, probably the best boxing in the 155-pound division, bozos. And I don't really like seeing rematches. And the UFC loves to see these rematches with Frankie Edgar versus Benson Henderson 2. Maybe some of you guys want to see that fight. I think that fight is completely stupid. Dana White's been saying it. I say it. Frankie should go to 145. That's where he should fight at. He's getting out. He got out-muscled, outclassed by Benson Henderson. Benson Henderson looked like a whole different weight class. He's just a bigger dude. He probably walks around at 170 and cuts down to 155, while Frankie Edgar cuts from like 158 to 155. So there's no point. But I would love to hear what you bozos say in the comments below. Do you want to see the rematch, Frankie versus Benson Henderson, or would you rather see Nate Diaz whoop ass and get his title that he deserves? Because he's been fighting in the UFC since, what, 2006, and at one point in time, he was on like a 5-fight win streak, and he didn't get a title shot back then. And back then, I think it was BJ Penn was the champion. But anyways, my point is, Nate Diaz deserves this title. He deserves a title fight against Benson Henderson. I think it's going to be a better fight, more entertaining fight. And maybe the UFC doesn't really like the Diaz brothers to become champion because they don't like the way he shit talks. And the bottom line is, the Diaz brothers shit talk and they back it up. They talk shit in the cage, and it pisses fighters off, where fighters are like, okay, you're talking shit, I'm going to come and swing for you. And I don't think that it's going to work against Benson Henderson, the shit talking. But I think Benson Henderson can take Nate Diaz out of his element and take him to the ground and use his good wrestling. But Nate Diaz has great stand-up, great cardio. He does that triathlon training, which is beastly for MMA, and he has the length. He has the best boxing, and Benson Henderson, like I said, has good wrestling, great stand-up as he has shown in the past. But I'd love to hear what you all got to say in the comments. So with that said, please rate, hate, comment, subscribe.